Some of you might be familiar with one of my previous videos about voodoo darkening. And voodoo darkening is a phenomenon that we still don't have a solution for or reason for. But here's another fun oil painter's problem or common frustration. So when people go to varnish, they'll get this beading up on their paintings. And that can be really frustrating. And usually what I do is use solvent and clean the surface to get better surface for the varnish to bond to. And usually by cleaning the surface with some solvent, that will create a better solution or a better surface for the varnish to go down on. Now, I've also noticed more often than when I was training is when I go to oil something in, it'll bead up and I'll have to break the surface tension by either agitating it with the makeup brush or a makeup sponge, or agitating it with even my finger to help it adhere to it. So that would be like, you know, doing this to try to make it a slightly better surface that's a little bit better. So here's my dilemma, or not dilemma, or my question as to what the heck is going on. I created sort of an experiment in which I thought I was going to try a couple things. So this is just a slice off my artifacts panel. And above this line, I'd actually used a little bit of linseed oil to not wet the surface, but I just put the oil down a little bit, very, very thin, let it dry. And this is just bare surface. I didn't do anything to treat anything below this. So I thought maybe I was gonna just see if the variables would make a difference. So again, there's a little bit of oil that has dried on the surface of the panel up here and no oil down here. So my variables are, it happens often when I have lead white. So I use lead white. And so I tried just putting lead white down. I also use straight burnt umber, ultramarine blue. So I was just using these two colors. One is very oily, one is not very oily and tends to sink in a lot. So I was gonna try to look at the sinking in, and I do have pictures of that, which I'll put up on my blog. But these did sink in a little bit less than the ones that did not have the oil prepared surface. This is what I normally paint on. So I just wanted to see if that was going to affect the sinking in. Once I had the pure pigments down, I also was a little suspicious about the fact that I tend to be fussy on my canvas with the paint. So that means like I'm petting a lot or I'm scrubbing. And I thought maybe that scrubbing would also maybe have some indication or factor on if things start to bead up like that. So I tried the direct application, no fussiness. These are the pure pigments, and then these are mixed with white. And then this is fussy. This is my fussy application. So meaning I scrub, and then did the same thing, mixed with white and scrub. So, and I did the same thing with white. And I also was suspicious that maybe the additional use of the makeup brush to knock down texture might also create additional fussiness. So half of it I would use the makeup brush, and half of it I would just leave as the fussy area. And I let all of this dry over the past couple days, and then I tried oiling in with one swipe of linseed oil on a makeup brush like this. So I was just using straight linseed oil on a makeup brush, and I would load up and I would swipe across. So here are the results of that. And this is why I'm asking the internet for input. So the pure white, just lead white, did not have any issues. It did not have any issues with beading up on the oiled surface. It did not have any beading up with the fussy area, makeup brush, or the pure canvas, fussy, or makeup brush. No problems with just the white. Then when we go to burnt umber by itself, let's see if you can see that. See, totally oiled in, solid, fabulous. But once I mix the burnt umber with white is when I began to see some of that beading up or resisting issue. Now, fussy burnt umber by itself, totally fine. Fussy burnt umber with the lead white, again, a problem. So I'm noticing the trend of the mixed with white both have issues. The one that's a little bit fussier is a little bit more resisty, but makeup brush had no difference. It's kind of the same resisting on both sides. So interesting. I don't know how the mixture of the two by themselves, they're fine. But as soon as I start mixing them together is really where we have an issue. So then we go to the ultramarine blue, which is a typically oilier paint. This, no problem. This, no problem. So this is ultramarine blue and lead white together, not fussy, not really an issue. Fussy ultramarine blue, not an issue. Ultramarine blue and white, a little bit fussy, doesn't seem to be an issue. So this confuses me. So is there something happening within the burnt umber and the white mixed together that creates a more waxy surface or some type of surface tension? And then I repeated all of that down on the unprepared surface. So just the regular 538 oil primed linen surface. So again, same problem, same issues. Now I did notice that you can see here that the ultramarine blue by itself with no oil on the surface did sink in a lot more, but really no problems once I'm oiling it in for the next layer. Again, repeating the same issue. Here we go, you can kind of see the resisting when I'm mixing the burnt umber and white, and this was a huge problem here. So that burnt umber mixed with white, more fussy, definitely had a problem. The not fussy was a little less of an issue, but there is still resisting. So what the heck is going on? This is a mixture of the burnt umber with the ultramarine blue, I think mixed a little bit with white and then just spread across. I just mixed up all my paint together and put it down. So that definitely had a problem. So if anybody has any suggestions or reasons why that would happen, I am very curious and I would appreciate any input.